I am Nubia of Nubian Queen Nation, as you can tell where we are now. And we're actually doing our Tuesday sister chat. It's been a while. I think the last time I think I saw that we logged on was sometime in June. So maybe, I don't know, really early in June, because I left to go to the continent of Africa on what day was that? I'm talking already. June the 11th, I think, is when I left. So I've been gone for approximately 1 month. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, it's 102, and my sister is just popping on too. And yeah, a lot of things went on, a lot of changes, but good changes, positive changes, right? So I just like landed on Saturday, was in New Jersey for a couple of days, waited for my husband to get off the plane on yesterday morning, and then my son picked us up. So I really just got home last night to the state of Connecticut. So here we go, right? Hey sis, how you doing? I can't hear you. Say something.
Hello.
Hello. First thing I heard was hello.
Do a little bit of walnuts and pistachios with a little bit of almonds, and the almonds, sometimes you get the stuck in the throat there, so stuck in
Yeah,
the teeth.
I need to do that. I need to have some myself. I tell you what, before I left, there was a whole lot of stuff going on as far as what's in the meat, what's not in the meat, what's in the, and so I was like, I'm
And
not
what
saying
is meat and what isn't meat?
we're children of God, but I was like, I'm not eating. Look, I feel I've almost resolved myself to eating, fresh farm fresh salmon, caught salmon, tuna from the can, and sardines, along with anything that's freshly grown from the your favorite co-op grocery store type of thing. And then I figured I was going to go to Africa and lose some weight. That didn't happen. That did not happen. And the funny thing about it is, we know that traveling a lot because we both were in the military. But I remember one time my mother-in-law said, when God rest her, and a lot of other our favorite people in the family have passed away. But she said always start off with lemon juice or lime juice, water. When you go to different country, whether it's Mexico, Puerto Rico, wherever you go, we know that's still America, but United States. But anyway, I kind of was doing that, and plus I learned from being in Turkey that they would come to your table before you ate dinner. This we're talking 30 years ago, and they would just squeeze fresh lemon in your hand. And I noticed the same thing. They do the same thing in Africa, sort of, kind of. They come to the side of your table and they let you wash your hands with some kind of. And so I didn't get sick at all. Praise God, hallelujah. But as soon as I got back to the States, I don't know where she went, but as soon as I got back to the States and I ate some food, I was so excited. I tell you what, y'all, I got sick as you want to say sick as a dog? That's what our older parents and the people in the family used to say. I was sick. We were on the highway. I was like, if y'all don't pull this car over and find me a restroom or whatever, we're going to get arrested for indecent exposure or something. Because anyway, so before I begin, and you asked me some questions, how was your last month or so? You and I were still talking, while I was over there on the
Mhm.
continent of Africa. But tell me, chime in here. Let me give the mic over to you.
So it's been a very stressful and very hectic over here. Um, our father had to get hospitalized on 4th of July, at 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, for some reason, the 3 days in a row, his blood sugar would not stabilize. It was dropping down so low, and I had never seen it drop down that low. And I would give him, orange juice, not orange juice, but apple juice and all kinds of things, carbs, just to get it up. But all it would do was bring the blood sugar, down or up and then back down, right? So we really physically had like no sleep for like 3.5, nights, and we were exhausted. And I said something's, because I would just stay up the whole night to keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
But on that third one, I said, can't keep doing this, because he was awake, I was awake. I'd wake him up out of his sleep. He was sleeping good, but I said, you cannot sleep right now. It got down to like 40 to 49 blood sugar.
And what
Average,
came?
average, anything below like 70, you should be looking at. 60 is like, okay, really need to pay attention, especially for his age. But 49, yes, you could say almost hello comatose, but God is great and faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I knew is because he has a freestyle Libre on his arm that purchased,
Mm-hmm.
and it would give me warning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so um, it's just long story short is it was a lot. So I called the help nurse, and the help nurse said, "Hey, look," I said, "I'm not trying to bring him in. I'm just trying to regulate his blood sugar, and I'm having issues here." And he back in some years back, the doctor used to give him like a whole like a little ampule, whatever you want to call it, of like sugar tablets, but they're like little orange sugar tablets. Like they kind of remind you of those like those candies, that were around like that.
Mm-hmm.
You pop in your mouth, and it's like an instant burst of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have any of those, and we haven't had this issue like ever.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, well, call the EMTs or call the fire department and have them come out and check his blood sugar. And so I thought that was like like that makes sense. Um, and so by the time I gave him the last thing I gave him, like I made him eat like everything. And he didn't want to, but I said, listen, you this or we're gonna go in. So
Mm-hmm.
he ate whatever I gave him. But when they got there, his blood sugar was actually finally coming up, but not enough to even register it was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they put a heart monitor on him, the EKG, and his heart was doing a palpitation every 15 seconds, like spiking up, spiking up, spiking up. And so I told him he had, quadruple bypass surgery, blah, 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 whatever, there were all the things going on. And they said, well, his sugar's going up, and that's great, but we don't know what's going on, why his heart's doing. I said, well, we do know he had a heart murmur, it's, for years. We knew that. But they decided that, ultimately we can't do anything with this and he needs to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought him in for one thing and ended up being, a whole other thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the blood sugar was still acting crazy, getting low, low, low. And as soon as he got to the ER, his blood pressures are going up, 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 100, ultimately up to like 198 over like 99 or 100, close to 100. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. We were there for so long period of time, like early morning to like evening, late evening, right? And they said, well, we finally, semi stabilized his blood pressure. It got him down to like maybe 170, 160. To me, that's not stable. His normal is supposed to be like 140s, 150s at his age and in his conditions, whatever. Um, but his blood pressure, his blood sugar, and they still weren't at a comfortable level for me. I said, I'm not leaving until till you tell me why he's had these two totally opposite things happening at the same time. And so finally, they said, "Well, do you want to take him home?" I said, "No, not until you tell me what's going on. What happened? Because this can keep happening, and this is something new, and you're not making me feel warm and fuzzy. We're home alone, and he can't stand. He can't, move by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, be responsible for anything. And he's had like multiple falls, and randomly sitting up in his bed and like falling back and can't get up, and just falling out, sliding out of his chair. It was just so much going on. It even happened when our uncle came to the house. Uncle and aunt came to the house to visit from Austin, and our uncle went to see how he's doing in the room. It was before this all happened. And our father was laying on the bed saying, "Help, help." I'm like, "Oh, Father God." So now our uncle's going, and so he and I get him up and get him situated in the bed. But it's like these are it's like I think he started to realize that this is like my daily bread. Every day this is like what's going on. There's something going on with it, either it's walking or it's laying or it's whatever. And so he started eating, eating less, picking at his food. Now I know that it might take him, an hour or two to eat the meal now.
Mm-hmm.
That was never his norm before. He eat the meal and move on to the next thing. So this is a whole bunch of things. So finally, they said, well, it might be, it could be his electrolytes. And that kind of makes sense. Okay, it can throw all things off balance. I can see that happening, but I kind of wanted them to, give me a better say. So I said, well, we'll keep him here for observation, and we'll give you a call in the morning. I said, and they said, well, we need to give him an evaluate because they know that there's other things that happen when you're older with memory and things. So they were saying, well, we need to give him an evaluate an overall evaluation before we can actually let him
Mm-hmm.
come back home. And so I said, Pop, listen. I said, if you want to come back home, do what they tell you to do for the evaluation.
Right.
I said, he's tired all the time, and I get it. He's getting older, and the older he gets, the more tired he is. I get it. We're all tired, right? But he's like 80, 4 years old, going on 85. So, but I give him the disclaimer. I have to, give him, hey, do this so you can do this. He needs
And
to know
just
what
for
the
the,
consequences are.
and just as a
Huh?
disclaimer, and we're sharing this information because there might be other people who are out there who may be going through the same
Yes.
thing, and
Yes.
we're siblings, so just so other people know that this is not my first time hearing it. All of our siblings
Right.
are aware of what's going on the whole time, so
Right.
that's just a disclaimer. So go ahead. So
And yeah, and I've had him for 11 and a half years, and I would keep doing it as long as he can help me help him. But when it started getting to the point where he was physically hurting me, like I have to help lift him up, and I have to help him walk to his room, and some days his legs will hold going across the room, and sometimes it won't. And the reason why I didn't put him in a wheelchair is because the wheelchair, I can't get him out of a wheelchair because the wheelchair sit low. So our agreement was, Pop, as long as you can walk, we can do this. You just got to help me. As long as you can do some, little bit, just a little bit to help me, I can do it. But it was getting to the point where I didn't tell you guys. I didn't want you guys to freak out. Now, I had to do everything in my own time, but my blood pressure was getting high and not going down. And I was like getting, just really, really stressed out, just trying to keep doing the right thing, according to my eyes. It's what I want to do. My heart led me to keep him home, and it was getting harder and harder to do it. And when you're in denial, saying you can keep doing it, knowing that you're exhausted and your body is telling you something's got to change. It took me to the doctor saying he didn't do the evaluation. He refused to do it. He says he's tired. He won't do anything. He can't stay home. And it's like, I don't want to say I almost needed to hear it from their mouth, which is really sad to say,
and
because
you
I
did
knew.
because we all have been talking about it, and we knew that it was starting to be too much for you. But again, like you said, you wanted your tolerance level, even though
Yeah.
it's cost you a lot with family members and family situations. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
And yeah, you're not wrong. So, but I just really I just wanted to do it, for as long as I could, And I would have, if his blood electrolytes had been okay, I would have took him back home, and we would kind of continue to do this whole thing, And I can't even tell you how many times I've had to call the ambulance, for our father, just because it's me caring for our father, And I'll have to call and get my kids to come, 15 to a half an hour away to help me pick them up, or call the ambulance to help me. So so now I kind of, I get it. I know that you got to know when to fold them, and ultimately, I'm bowing out, reluctantly,
Well,
but
I mean,
also,
but it's not like a dirty little secret or things that first of all, these things need to be said.
yeah.
And I know that our other siblings could help when they want to, and yes, the majority of it was on you. But when he was here with me, because in between those, like you said, 11 years, he would come. But I also had a house full of people that could help me lift him up, that could help me get him to the second floor, take a shower. So, but yeah, overall, you were there and you were doing it by yourself. But it was different when he was able to travel and he was here for a bit.
Right.
I had a whole family
Mhm.
of people that could help me,
Right.
including my children and my husband.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then we all saw that it was getting too much. But again, we don't do all the whole astrology thing. But with my mother and my father and my sister all being Leo the lions, that's like it was going to happen in your timing. It was going to happen in your timing. And God is definitely going to, he's going to reward you better than any of us could. And I'm sure that Daddy, it's hard for him being where he is right now, but I know that he would prefer to be home,
Mhm.
but you also have to do what's good for you
So
also.
yeah, I'm learning. Self care is something that I really, really like. Even just getting. I haven't learned. I learned. I'm learning self care. Put it that way. Um, it, it's really good to put everybody first, but at some point, you got to look at yourself in your life and what's going on with you, and say, hey, you know,
No, because and it says even when you get on the plane, I've been on a plane several times in the last couple of months. You have to put the mask on yourself
put your
first
mask
because if
on first.
not, you're
Yeah.
deficient. You
Hmm.
are what's up bankrupt. My pastor in Tampa used to always say, "You can give, 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 and then at some point you have to realize that you're bankrupt yourself." and you cannot keep giving from an empty place, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're all strong-willed, and it's not that,
Oh,
nothing to do with controlling or whatever. We're all just strong-willed, and we just have to. We are where we are, and I just hope that in the long run he would kind of, he may or may not, understand the decision that has to
mm-hmm.
be made. But at some point in time, when he's not able to lift himself, not able to do all these different things for himself, other people in his life have to make those decisions for him.
Yeah, I really started realizing when, when you start to lift him up to get him out of a chair, and you're doing the count. We always count to three, and it was getting to the point where when I get to three, I'm lifting him up, and he's dead weight. And I finally said one day, I said, "You're hurt," because my back was like so on fire, right? I said, "You're hurting me," and when he told me, "You're yelling at me," I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to raise my voice." I said, "But you're hurting me. You got to tell me if you can't lift, you're not ready or something, because you feel that back pull, and it's like, I already have the chronic issues, until God takes it away, the chronic issue is present, right?" And so it was that's the part that was hard. I refused to keep him in the bed, because that's like, you know you don't want to say the ancilla, but keeping it, that's not conducive to healthy living, or living, right? So I would make sure that he got up at least once a day out of his bed, and I'd have him sit there throughout the day, because it's better to be erect than it is to be laying down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, no, you need to sit up and let the blood flow through your body, right? And so he would do it, and then I would move him back, in the evening for bedtime, freshen up in bedtime. But yeah, it was really, really hard. Even just talking to our uncle yesterday, he did it for FaceTime. I'm trying to explain to him, where he is and whatever, and I'm starting to tear up. So it's like, I don't know what's going on with me. It's like I've got, my emotions are like all over the place right now. It's like, I think it is like, I don't know why, but I felt guilty. I should, after 11 and a half years, I shouldn't feel guilty, but I just felt guilty, like I failed the mission. Like my mission was to completion, but I didn't make it. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Can I do it again? I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then there's a point too, because I know, and we just, both of us basically take after our Mother Teresa, with wanting to care, because even some time back when I lived in Virginia and I took care of mom's father, and there is, you want to keep going, but then
yeah,
the emergency calls and the waking up in the middle of the night with blood issues coming from different, it just gets to where it's hard, because
yeah,
you got to make that decision. And then also, when you and I being in the military and me taking care of your children, I would pray every day, Lord, let me be able to do this, what I'm doing, with a grateful heart,
right. And that's important,
where you feel at peace and the people that you're taking care of feel at peace
right?
and they feel loved. But when it gets
Yeah,
to the point where, and I'm not saying that you had any resentment or anything like that, but sometimes in certain situations with family members, you get to a point where you start to resent the other person because you're taking care of it. And like I said, I'm not saying that that's your situation,
no,
but
no,
I'm
yeah,
saying we're speaking on behalf of people who are taking
yeah,
care of the elderly or children or whomever,
mhm,
you know,
yeah,
as
mhm,
caregivers, as caregivers.
right.
So yeah, it's hard, and you know,
And then the blessing is, if it's a blessing and a curse, but if they're in hospice, and you're caring in your home, they will allow you to do 5-day respite. But the thing is, you can't do it every month. Like I'm not saying they frown upon it, but it's like, they frown upon it. It's like they prefer, you to be able to space it out some, but if you're really caring for a loved one that can do nothing but feed themselves, 5 days is like, you know, a minute. When you're trying to unwind, you're probably unwinding on that fifth day.
yeah.
But I'm definitely grateful for that, because I mean, without those days, I wouldn't have had any.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it's a lot. So I've been going over every day. It hasn't even been a week yet, but I go every day. I didn't go. Did I go yesterday? Was Sunday yesterday? No, Monday. I
Um,
didn't go.
Monday. And today's
Monday.
Tuesday.
So Yeah, so I didn't go yesterday, and initially the hospice company told me because they're going to come in and do what I do as far as washing them up, as far as getting someone to come in and wash them up for me and stuff like that, and just checking on. They have chaplain coming in, and just the thing, everything that was happening over here, social worker, chaplain, nurse, CNA to the wash aide to come wash them up and all that is still going to happen there. And I have to know, as to what my requests are for our father. Make sure he gets dressed every day. Get him out of the bed, please. The only problem about him being there is if he tells them no, no is no because they can't make him do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get a phone call yesterday from the nurse saying he said he refused his lunch. I said his refusal is pretty much not a no. It's a no for right now. So if you leave it and give him some time, he'll
Mm-hmm.
nibble on it, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am going to have to go over on tomorrow. I'm just going to give myself a couple of day break. I go and I say I'm going to stay for an hour and I'm there for 2 or 3 hours, but but that's okay too, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But he gets tired and he wants to lay down, so I bring him outside. I met a new CNA this past weekend, brand new to this agency, and all I can say is this guy
Fresh.
is on the money,
So he's
and
fresh.
I'm like, hallelujah, praise God. He works at another place, but he just works there on the weekends.
Mm.
So, and I was always concerned about the weekend care. It seemed like the weekend care was not like the quality care as you get on the weekday
Mm-hmm.
because they're just there for the weekend. But this guy, no, he appreciates his role as far as what in the whole nursing home scheme, and
Mm.
I appreciate that. And so he can get Pop to do things, that others may not be able to. So that was kind of exciting, and the fact that his weekday nurse will call me and say, "Hey, nah," because this is where I took him for respite, when I had my little break, and he has friends there. That bless my soul,
Yeah.
because Mr. S, Uncle
Yeah.
S, Uncle C is not going to he's not going to let anything happen to our Papa.
Yeah. Now, what's the aide that works there? The new aide. What's his average age? I'm just curious.
Our age,
Oh, okay.
dread
See, that's still
dreadlocks,
that's
dreadlocks.
that's mature. That's maturity because
Yes,
you get people
great.
who just want,
Seasoned hair.
yeah, because you get those people who come in and they just want extra cash for the weekend.
Yeah.
But when you get
Oh,
people who are seasoned people and they're there on
yeah.
purpose and intentionally, then it
Yes.
makes a big difference.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna go and I have a sign in there: do not wash his clothes or do it myself, because unfortunately, nursing homes, it happens where things come up missing. But
Mm-hmm.
if I wash them myself, I know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually limit it to like 7 to 9 outfits. That way I can just rotate them out. If I give them a whole abundance, it's more to keep track of. And you know me, military logistics, I have a whole, what do you call it? I
Chart.
call it a packing list.
Chart. Yeah.
A packing list of everything I have on there, and then like the inventory to top it off. Because I want to make sure that my T's are crossed and my dots are, my I's are dotted. Because don't tell me it wasn't here because it was here.
Mhm. And
So.
the funny thing about that is, okay,
Hmm.
so the trip that I just came off of, my daughter, her husband,
Hmm.
and their two daughters were there, and then my kids came in a week at a time, but my son and my two daughters that were out of the country, they all happened to be there that same week, and my husband didn't come till after they left, so my husband missed them all. But
Oh.
my son-in-law, because he's military, my daughter's military, I am, we're just a military family. My son-in-law counted his underwear because after being there for a couple weeks, he kept saying, I'm not sure if I told you the story. He's like, has anybody else noticed that his undergarment? He said, my undergarments. He said, my underwear. They're missing. I'm like, what do you mean your underwear is missing? Because we had a sweet lady come in, and she came with the apartment that we rented. So
I
she
got you.
washed clothes, she cooked for us on a daily basis. She could also be a nanny, but I'm like, I'm here. So I'm like, there's no way that she wasn't even Muslim. There's no way that this God fearing woman stole his. I just refused to, to wrap myself around that.
They
So
must have been some really snazzy, some really, bougie
wearing
underwear.
Africa, and they probably said Nike, they probably said Air Jordan, they probably whatever the popular underwears are. It probably had that logo, Hanes, whatever. Americans wear their, and he not him, but they wear their underwear with the label showing. So
Mm.
so I kept thinking, are you sure? Maybe you forgot to pack your underwear, and maybe you left them in New Jersey, in the room. He said, I'm military. He said, I counted 14 pair of underwear to come to. I said, okay, okay. But I still in my heart said, there's no way that this woman is stealing his underwear to
Hey,
go to sell them on the market. Like, I don't get it.
my
So
kind of guy.
so,
Yep.
so I no. So I said, okay,
I
guys.
know where I roll them up.
I said, don't say anything. Please don't say anything, because if you're wrong, I don't know what is happening. I said, well, you know what? So they went to the pool party. They went to the pool, not the pool. They went to the pool because there was a beach in the pool. And I had the opportunity to be in the room by myself with her. And she's like, we called her Miss by her name because, you want to respect the person who's there for, she's serving us. And so
Yes.
we called her Miss so-and-so by her name.
Right.
So I'm like praying, Lord, how do you say this without making a person feel a certain kind of way?
Offended.
I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So I said, Miss So-and-so, I said, how you doing today? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, good, good. This is what we're going to eat for today. You give her the money and she goes out, go shopping. And then when you come back, your lunch dinner is done. So I said, have you found that people who have come in the past has the wash machine been eating up the clothing? And she's like trying to understand. I said, the wash machine, is it eating socks? Is it eating underwear? I said, because my son-in-law, he has underwear missing. And she said, no, like where'd that come from? So I'm like, I said, I don't know. I said, but his stuff is missing and we don't understand. So then we had somebody come and look at so we thought maybe the underwear fell behind the wash machine. The maintenance man came, took it apart. My husband gets there finally, because he had like 14 days there. So he halfway of me being there here because of my husband. I didn't say to him, I also told my daughter, I wash my own undergarments. Like when she's off on Sunday, I'm washing my own stuff. She's off. I'm washing all my stuff and I'm hanging my stuff up on the line. So my daughter had some things that was missing too. So I said, are you sure? But eventually when I said that, hers mysteriously showed up in a pile. I don't know. She said, well, why didn't you tell me that you were washing your own? I said, I don't know. I thought that, that you knew. So my other daughters were there too. So we kind of laughing, it's like, they're like, yeah, no, I wash my own underwear too. That goes way back to, we're not, what's the word? We're not superstitious or anything like that. But when it comes to my female garments, I'm washing my own stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my husband gets here, he throws his stuff in there, and his stuff gets washed. We went out the next day, we could not find his underwear. So not only did it happen to my son-in-law, but now my husband, out of 3 pair of underwear that we had just washed, 2 of them were gone. So I felt like I was sitting on the porch, like trying to figure out what's going on. And I said, it's like the Holy Spirit said to me, you know what? There's a beautiful balcony because there's no dryer. You take the clothes and within an hour or so they're dry.
They're dry. Okay.
So she would do them in the afternoon. She would hang them up. They would stay overnight. I said, you know what, guys? I think people are climbing over the balcony, coming over, because the way our apartment was situated, the room, the hallway next to us was a balcony that was, you can climb over and you can get into our balcony. So we made sure we kept our door locked at night, the sliding glass door. I said, guys, I don't think it's Miss So-and-so. I think I would prefer to think that it's somebody else is climbing over. They know that Americans are staying here and nothing else is touched. The baby stuff wasn't touched. None of my clothing was touched. Only the men underwear. So yeah, you telling me the story of washing daddy's stuff. And we know that over the years of him being in and out of respite or whatever, his stuff just become, and then the staff says, we don't know what happened. Well, his name is on it. You would even have his name printed on his stuff.
Exactly. There was one place that I had him. The place was you walk in, it was beautiful. It smelled fresh and clean all the time. The room, he had his own room. The room was big, everything nice. But I'd find him on the floor, or I'd find, he'd be soiled, like, whatever, So that could only happen a few more times before you say, get him out of here, And the other place, he was in, out there in the country. That one was not bad. They actually had like activities that he really liked, and he just watched everybody else do the activities because he's not an activity kind of guy. But he actually had the scooter and was taking little trips that they didn't know about until they put a Wonder Guard on. I said, okay, it's time to go from here. And they wouldn't. It was an hour away, and I would drive an hour there and then stay for 3 hours because it was far, and then come back home, and it'd be like nighttime. And
But
but
is
they
that
wouldn't
the
change
place that he also, the place where he also he got a speeding ticket? Or they almost gave him a speeding ticket for speeding in
Yeah,
the
yeah. He was at the edge of the highway, at the edge of the road, watching all the cars go by, and everybody is at the place frantically trying to find him. And he is just
on the
sitting there
edge of the
watching all the cars go by. He said, "I just needed to get out." He said, "I'm like," because I get the phone call, and keep in mind it's an hour and out. And so a nurse was pulling in to go to work, and she said, "Mister, what?"
sitting on the edge of
So
the
she went
highway, just
in.
watching the cars go by, just sitting on the edge of the
Yeah,
road.
yeah, yeah. And it wouldn't have been bad, but he did it twice. And then he did that New England sarcasm, like, I just needed to get out, you know. I'm like, okay. And they
But
said, well, and then
he also
I
ordered
talked him into
groceries.
not,
But he also
yeah,
ordered groceries with no money, no credit card, and they
from
delivered.
ATB.
And they delivered. I'm like,
Yeah. Like, how you didn't have any? Okay, so that happened. But so I talked him out of putting a Wonder Guard on the first time at that place. But the second time he did it, and they said, well, Mr. Fisher, we need to know you're not going to do this again. He said, well, I can't guarantee I won't do it again. I'm like, oh.
cha-ching, yeah, boom, boom, like
On the ankle. And I said, oh, Father God. So when I say that our Father has given, cling, cling, yeah, he has given us like adventures, unwanted adventures most of the time, So, and that was during a time where I was like still in school, and I'm like, look, I'm already, missing some things here. You can't. So I said, we got to come on back home. So long story
wait,
short, our stints in certain places didn't last very long because, you know,
but you did also you also didn't mention the first week or so that he was there. He was the fact that they had candy at every station without a nurse,
oh,
and and his blood pressure went up to like what 500 because he's like all
blood
this
sugar was at
candy.
500.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they told me, and each wing would say, "Oh, hi, Mr. Fisher," as he's eating their candy and drinking soda. Right? I said, we out. I said, we out. He wasn't even very. I mean, he hasn't been anywhere very long because he does stuff. So I can't say I didn't try. I mean, I really tried, but and going
I
back
think
and forth, every day, an hour there, an hour back was burning me up. Seriously.
yeah, and
So,
and then in transparency because we are talking about elder care and caregivers.
yeah.
I mean, there was a point where even your kids were asking me, can't you talk my mom out of it? I'm like, I can't talk your mom out of it. Have you met your mom? Like,
They said, "Why can't you just tell her to do it?" She said, "Have you met your mom?"
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, it's an individual thing, and when you can see it, but all we could do is just wait and watch and pray, because
Yes. So
like a
what was that?
pastor would say, it is what a TI is.
Right. So on another subject, because we can keep going on this. This could be a
I
whole
know.
sub segment on this on
Mhm.
dementia and diabetes and hypertension and everything else. But we're not doctors. This is our own personal experience. We're not trying to tell you what to do. Everybody does whatever it is they're going to do in their own time. Mine just happened to be 11 and a half years.
She just was.
So
I love, and everybody knows I love you. She was just on the slow yellow bus. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with being on the slow yellow bus.
yeah, I mean, I just love my seat and I'm on the bus, I guess, at that time.
That's our
So
sister.
was it
That's
you
our
and
sister
I?
humor. Anybody who's watching, that's just sister humor. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, it's like, yeah, it's the special fishing humor. Anyway, but was it you and I talking about me giving my grandkids, my young grandkids Play-Doh and
Yeah.
and I
Yes,
told
it
you
is.
that when they left, they forgot to put the cap on the Play-Doh.
Right.
Well, I put
So
water in
we
the
had
Play-Doh, so the Play-Doh is now Play-Doh again. So when they come back, it's as good as new.
Yeah, we had my kids over here. We had an appointment. If we are gonna play with Play-Doh, we're gonna put that on the schedule. We're gonna put the newspaper out. We're gonna lay everything out. And majority of the time, I'll buy the Play-Doh and then hide the Play-Doh because I'm like, we ain't doing it, man.
I can't.
But
How
and,
dare
and
you?
we were homeschooled. But I'm like, that takes a special kind of. You ain't finding no Play-Doh in the carpet, in the furniture.
Oh, come on.
Guess what? They are just as creative, and they're just as that. They're not going to therapy because they had lack of Play-Doh time. They're good.
Hmm. Yeah. I did learn though with my first set of grandkids. Don't never give them gold or silver or any kind of paint that may not come up on a wood floor. So I'm still looking at a couple of spots that are shimmering gold,
Oh, I
paint.
love that though. I see if it's gonna
Yeah.
be anything, it
hmm
might as well be shimmering gold. I
You
mean,
know, you know. So and it's like my kids say, you let your grandkids do whatever. If they want to eat at noon at midnight, what do you want me to make you? If I just took you to IHOP, we played at the park, and we come home and you ask for chicken, you ask for nuggets and some French fries. You know what? We're gonna have some chicken nuggets and some French fries. I got some ready. I get the Dino nuggets right there in the freezer. Let's go.
you know. So
I'm just saying,
I hear you, and I see it. I'm partially. It's fun. It's fun being a new grandparent. I enjoy
Yes,
it.
yes. So
I,
I've got from 16 to 2. So
yeah, and so now,
yeah.
even though the last time we went and purchased a telephone,
Uh-huh.
my husband and my son and the salespeople were all standing around me. They're like, "Okay, there's no way that she can use up this amount of memory. She's gold for the next few years." Yeah, I was in Africa, and my phone was already telling me that I was out of memory. My son's like,
Mm,
"How could that be?" I'm like, There's grandbabies in there now. You can't delete a grandbaby picture." That is
right.
at
And
the
how about when you open up your phone and you're trying to find something for someone, they say you have a lot of icons, or I forgot what they call them, but I call them icons. You got little, you got a lot of icons. I'm like, yes, I do.
yeah.
Yes.
That and when you open up your phone or your Google in
hmm
front of somebody, and then for me
Yeah.
they see on this day you have this appointment, this appointment, this appointment, blah 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 blah. I'm like, they're like, oh my gosh, doesn't that give you anxiety? I'm like, no, actually, not having them gives me anxiety. So whatever,
Yeah.
either way,
hmm Okay.
yeah. But
Uh,
anyhow, anyhow.
you
So I know.
know.
Oh, I love that you made you did the whole thing without even me saying something to you. But so here's some of the things that I purchased. So my husband, when I was over there, I had I said to my daughter, let's go get our nails done. Let's go get our nails done. So
Ooh.
we drove by two or three different salons to go get our nails done. I'm like, why are we driving by all these little salons? She said, because she Googled one and it had a good star rating or whatever. Because that's not something I check first. I
hmm
mean, I know what we're getting older.
Yeah.
It's not always the first thing that I check. So she said, "Oh, this one had a good star rating." So I said, "Oh, okay." So we drove by all of them to get to the one So we get out of this little buggy that they call a tuk-tuk, which is like a quarter of a Volkswagen, or maybe half of a Volkswagen buggy.
What?
Remember the one I had from high school?
Yeah.
Um, so you get in there, two people can fit in the back, the driver in the front right seat, and the other passenger can fit in the front left. So we're getting there, we get to the place, and we walk out. Thank you, pay the guy, and we walk in. I'm like, hello, good after, you know, good afternoon or whatever. And she said, oh, hey, good afternoon, come on in, sit down. I'm like, excuse me. I said, I'm not trying to be rude, but you're speaking perfect English. Is it? She's like, girl, come on. I said, I'm from Philly. Come on in here and sit down. That was so funny. But she was telling me about my feet and how important it is to, you know, here we are now. We talk about elderly care and caregivers, but self care is very, very important, like you said, because if we don't take care of ourselves, it's hard for us to take care of other people around us.
Right.
So she was saying, because I'm trying to, even if I go and take care of my feet from being in the military and all that kind of stuff, my skin around my feet, it's almost like they say diabetics, when you have a wound, it takes forever for that wound to heal. And so the skin on my feet just has not healed properly in the past. What, my daughter's 30 years old,
Wow.
So no matter how much stuff I slather on and all my
Mhm.
stuff I take internally, she said, you know what, you need to get some collagen. And so that's what this right here is, collagen. She said, oh, she said, there's a place here in
Just for me, because I see the light and the number, how many minutes we're at. Yeah, perfect. It says Bloom.
Bloom. Yeah, Bloom.
Okay.
So she said, oh, I can get you some collagen. There's somebody here that I know sells it. She said $80. I said, I'm gonna get on this phone, on this WhatsApp, and call my husband and my son and tell them to bring me some collagen from the States, because this is like, average maybe $20 or $30,
Right.
and they got this brand. But you know what? it says
Times four? Come on now. $80
I
for a
know.
$20 jar? Come on
Oh yeah,
now.
$30. Yeah. So this says
Mm,
colostrum and collagen peptides. So these are,
mm,
it's a gut health, immune support, hair, skin, and nails. So she was
mm.
saying how, because you can take biotin for your nails and your hair, but after a while, I mean, so anyway, I switched, and so now I've been drinking collagen a lot, and I had some before I left to go to Africa, but I was out of it. So just something that we should be drinking on a daily basis. And I also watched the whole 1 hour, 45 minutes, or 1 hour thing of Dr. Gunji. You know how he's a part of every household. And my husband's like, and my kids like, why are you watching that? You can delete it, right? It's an advertisement. I'm like, no, because
Yeah,
it's very informative. I'm gonna watch
yeah.
him.
Oh, yeah.
That man must sell at least 10 different products now. So I just
Oh,
ordered today his collagen.
did you see that olive oil he's selling? The olive oil is supposed to be like the best olive oil ever, but looking at how he holds it, that thing must be like so tiny. And he's like sipping out of it. I'm thinking, that's okay. That's like 2 swigs. That means you need to buy, you need one of these a day. One a day
No, we
of olive
had
oil.
purchased it before. It was a tall, thin bottle. It's tall and it's thin, so it's
How,
not very
how,
much
how
in there.
tall? Like tall as my hand?
No, it's like a regular bottle. I don't. But anyway, we bought it once. I'm like, I'm not buying that again because it's too expensive. And
Yeah.
a lot of times he tells you need to. We're just going to buy the best that we can find in the Costco's or in the Stop and Shop and go for
And
it. But
pray that it's real olive oil and nothing added in it. I mean,
exactly,
extra virgin. Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, he has a lot of products. But anyway, so this is one thing that I've been using for the past. I've been using it off and on since probably the beginning of the year because now all my kids and everybody on the what's this, what they say, the social media influencers were saying for our age we should be doing
Yeah.
collagen, and it's
Mm-hmm.
harder to, you can try and put it on your skin, but eat the foods that have it in it too. If you just
Right.
try and just get it in, So I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to share
Mm-hmm.
that. And then when my daughter came from South Korea, she bought some masks for us to all do. And
Mm-hmm.
I brought mine home with me because I was more invested in just watching my kids interact with each other. And
Yeah.
I don't want to put my mask on. I kind of watch them do the mask and them all talking. So I brought mine home. So we need to start doing that on a regular basis too.
Okay.
But while we're there, the one daughter from Scotland, UK, was saying that she uses something similar to this one. So number one daughter ordered one for me and one for her. I paid her for it. So Revive lip balm. It's just cute. It just has like a little gold tip, and I haven't tried it yet, so I figured I'll try it while I'm on here with you.
It's just lip balm?
It's just like a lip balm, yeah, but it's just cute. Like
Yeah.
so I'm just squeezing it a little bit. Did you see it come out? It went back in. Where's my camera? Like, where's the camera? All right, so a little bit,
Yeah.
and then a little bit of color. So that's a little bit of gloss.
All right.
I know I'm gonna have to pull you along because I'm a self-care girly.
Yes, Lord.
And then
I love it.
and even if I've fallen off the wagon a little bit, I'm gonna jump back on that wagon because self-care is very, very important.
Right.
So on the way over there, I think I went through Air France. My son came through Germany. He had a layover in Germany.
What part of Germany? Ramstein?
I did not ask him. I did not.
Frankfurt, probably.
It was probably Frankfurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
His initial on his ticket was Frankfurt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But one thing, Air France, man, they know how to do it. While you're on your flight, they give you these like fresher, like little cloths that are like moist. And
nice.
I thought it's like a wipey, you throw it away. Girl, these things you're supposed to refresh and throw it away, but this is my new travel cloth because it's just really thin.
Yes.
And you can reuse it. So I've been using it on my face, like when I'm traveling.
You can buy some of those. You can buy a packet at Amazon and just have it at the ready.
Yeah, but this is also like a regular washcloth that you can throw in the washing machine and wash it and use it again. So, anyways, that was really cute. I love the fact that they gave them out on the flights. And on my way out, there were some that were not even used. They didn't. I got a couple. I'm like, y'all just leaving them on the seat. Okay, I got a couple. Yeah, that's me. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, what else do I have over here?
I remember in my younger travels when I was going places, they would upgrade me to first class, which was like a blessing, and sometimes I would give you a hot cloth for your face. Yes. Oh Lord, I miss those days.
And they upgrade you because you're a military, or what? They upgrade you? How'd you get the upgrade?
I don't know, because I think our parents raised us nice and polite, and we actually back in those days we dressed just right dress, so we looked professional, Okay, I looked professional. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So and it's funny because traveling through the airport this time, it's from like our I'm just gonna say her name. She's gone. But Aunt Lorraine, all you see all them travel, and then we still travel that way, and so I still travel that way myself. You
Yeah.
know, even though it is comfortable for people to just wear sweats and stuff like that, I still put on my little dress and. You know, and then you're in the airport, people look at you like, "Where are you going?" It's like I'm traveling.
Yeah, right.
doing my thing.
But I've learned now you can go ahead and wear a cute little outfit, but I'm gonna put those sneakers on just in case. You know.
That's what I did too. But I noticed that my daughter and my son-in-law they had their sneakers, but when they just before they got to the customs area,
They swapped them out.
They switched to their Adidas slides.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So that should be one of your carry-on items is that you can just, already at your leisure, just flip the shoes off and flip them back on. And then when they got past that, they put their sneakers back on. I'm like, okay. But live and learn. Because you and I and all of us, we got plenty of travel time ahead of us. We can do like our Grandma T and her sisters used to do.
I still have not been to St. Thomas like they went. So
say again. Oh yeah. Oh no, I've never been there.
St. Thomas, St. Croix. So those are all on my list. Also, to go to. Amongst many more. Yeah. Still haven't hit the Greek Isles. I've already hit Italy and Capri and all those, but there's still some more places that I want to go. Africa has been on my list, and I have not been. You've been twice already. So hopefully,
yeah. But there's a lot of. But you've been to Belize. There's a few places that you've been that I haven't been. So but now it's fun traveling with my kids. I love it. But we're gonna have to start doing some sister and friends trips.
I enjoy Costa Rica also. Costa Rica, what vida. But yeah. So there's
another thing I traveled with was B12, and this came after I left, but I had already had one other B12, just B12.
That's the drops.
And this one has B12. This one has B12, B6, and B1, so I can't wait to go ahead and try this one. As you get older, there are things that our bodies are lacking. We just need to go ahead and get the nutrients in.
Right.
Oh wow, we're already at 6 minutes.
And I have a doctor appointment at 1300, so no worries. But
okay. So anything you want to share before we pop off either?
Oh, it's time to go already. I do have that. Almost. I have that same exact B12 that you just pulled. The B12. Blah, blah, blah. I have that actually here. I want to go run and get it so I can show you.
Well, I believe you. If you say you got it, we only have 15 minutes left. So if you say you got it, I believe you got it.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't take with me yet is I was so excited about the 2-prong eyebrows because not everybody was blessed with the eyebrows that you have there. So I ordered this one. I haven't figured out how to use it yet because this was not 2-prong. It's like 4-prong. Oh man, this is like four different tips so you can have these natural looking eyebrows.
Wow, you have arrived. This 4-prong what?
Well, so this is a little blanket. It's not even a blanket. It's like a towel. The apartment that we stayed in had blue and white ones, and so whenever the kids went to the beach or the pool, they had these little towel things with little fringe on it, and so they only had 4. So when my husband got there, girl, do you not know? As much as I love the bank that we use, my cards did not. Not one of my cards worked a lick of never, not at all the whole time.
No.
So I would have to buy something and have my kids transfer, they gave me money and I transferred money back to their accounts. And then thank God when my husband got there, thank God all of his cards worked. But I was there the whole time.
Did you call your bank and tell them that you were going to travel?
Girl, that's a whole nother channel. Maybe next travel readiness, because we bought this $50 package for internet, and then my son-in-law and them, well, do you have an IP number? Do you have a VPN? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I had internet, but it would not work for the stateside. So the one time I did get through to the bank, I was using my son-in-law's business phone, and it went straight to the bank. But then when I called, I'm like, why do you guys have all these international numbers that does not work in Africa? Like, if I'm not in Spain, I'm not in Italy. Right. The 1-800 number for Europe does not, or for out of the country does not work. And they said, "Oh man, we're showing that nothing is frozen. Your card should work." Went to the next thing, because when my kids were coming in or something, or my husband was coming in, girl, I went to get me. I drove an hour into town where the airport was, and I said, "Well, let me get a room." Okay, when my second daughter was getting relieved. People, Discover Card does not work anywhere else in the United States. And matter of fact, they're being bought out by Capital One right now. And not
You
only did
mean
I pass the Discover card,
so? You mean it doesn't work anywhere outside of the United States?
doesn't work anywhere outside the United
Okay.
States. So that's the Discover card.
Okay.
So then I got the AMP, the American Express card. I was excited, girl. Another card, maybe it's why it's called American for a reason. It did not work anywhere.
No, they.
So here I am passing them. Here I am passing them 3 different cards. They're like, lady, I don't think you can stay. You can't afford to stay here. And finally, I'm not sure what card I used. It finally went through. After the 3rd card, American Express should have worked, and I understand Discover now they don't work anywhere.
American Express works everywhere. I don't know about Africa, but everywhere I've been, I've always been able to use American Express. But just make sure you pay at the end of the month.
No.
Them suckers.
No, it was brand new. Didn't work, and it was activated too. So they're like, oh no, we don't. They don't. They said they even tell you no, we don't. Well, things have changed, and a lot of countries are starting to get together to have their own money. And they said no, we don't need to accept American Express. They'll tell you they don't accept American Express.
Wow.
So that's pretty much changed in like the last year or so.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the reason why I brought that up is because my husband, when he got there, we finally bought our own little towels. And these things were so cute. They, like the old towels, takes a long time for them to dry, but these right here are very thin, and they dry you off, and they were really cute. So I had our lady, Miss Veronica, go out and get it for me because
it looks like a hand towel.
I asked how much.
Show me again.
They're tall. They're long. They're as long as we are tall. So
oh, nice.
Really, really, really. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I asked how much they were, because the guy was he had a hand weaving machine out there, like the ones that our friend that lives out there in Texas where you are.
Yeah.
And they do everything by the weaving machine. He had a weaving machine sitting out there.
That's amazing.
And but he wanted to charge me like $40 for one, and I sent her out there, and it was like $20, $15 to $20 when I sent her because she's a local. So that's the only thing about being out of the country is that people, when they know that you're American, they automatically, 5 times the price. I had to tell one person, I said, how much is it to go from here to there? And when he told me, I said, okay. And then when I got in the car and we stopped at the ATM machine to get money, he said, oh, ma'am, I forgot that the petroleum, the gas price went up. And so I need to charge you, 3 times more. I said, excuse me. I said, you didn't know last night that the prices went up? He said, yeah. He said, but I said, oh no. I said to Elizabeth, to my daughter, I said, let's get out. We're walking. Girl, I wasn't walking anywhere in that heat, in that dust. I was not walking anywhere. I said, we'll get out. Open the door. We're getting out. He said, oh, no, ma'am. I said, look, don't be trying to slick store. I'm from New York.
Forgive her, Lord.
But I did fly into New York and fly out of New York. So anyway, I'm like, don't be trying to be a city slickster here.
You should have said,
so he said, oh, no,
I'm one state from New York. I'm one state from New York.
It didn't matter because when you go out of the country anywhere, they don't. If you say Connecticut or Rhode Island, they don't know that. Yeah. But if you say Boston, Connecticut, California, Florida, they know those states.
Yeah.
So that's But anyway, it was a good time, and everything is a learning curve, and yeah. But anyway. So anyhow, it was nice chatting with you today, and thank you for all those who are going to pop in. If you're I'm going to have to make sure I go ahead and edit and say this was mainly about elderly care and self-care. And, and we know, because I know that my pastor would say that traveling, reading, and getting more education are all things that help to grow, and they're all self-care, right. All a part of self-care, So, but I just want to say thank you for what you do. And I know the next time you go see Pop, tell him we said hello. We'll have to figure out a time for me to also get out there, fly out there to see him, because we know that not every day is promised to us. Right. We wake up and we thank the Lord for what we have and what we're being able to just wake up and get ourselves dressed, taking another breath. All those things are important, and we don't take them for granted, right. So, but if you're out there and you also have a loved one, we just pray your strength in the Lord. We pray that you make good decisions that are for you, not only your loved one, but also for you and your family, because where we live in the United States, it wasn't meant, make it to where it's conducive for us to other countries. There was something I read somewhere where, our kids were always homeschooled from the very, very beginning. They didn't have like send your kid to school. That was something that we developed here And then because there's a lot of people that that were presidents, they didn't go to like formal schooling when you think way back in the beginning of the Americas,
Mhm.
and so the concept even of nursing homes at one point wasn't something that existed, but you also had people living in community. You had family members who didn't leave outside of the community, and you could help to do that as
Right.
a unit,
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so we just pray for those who are out there and the family members that are in nursing homes, and that the people that are there will do the right thing, and that they use good judgment, and that they're professional.
In the name of Jesus.
Pray safety and protection over all of our loved ones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing.
What?
So when I went to church on Sunday,
Mhm.
I stopped in to wash my hands in the restroom, and one of the sisters said, "Oh, I just saw somebody else wearing that same dress." I said, "Really?" So when I walked into the sanctuary and looked over to my right, it was Sister Maria had the same exact dress. So I went over there and sat down next to her. We started cracking up. So we had another sister take a picture before church started.
Oh, that's adorable.
She said, "We should
Like,
do this
what is it?
again." I said, "Well, I have whatever." It was kind of a dress like this, and I said, "Well, I have an orange one just like this." So I said,
Let's put
"Check
it
your
on our
closet, see if you
schedule.
have one." Take it.
It's like let's put it on our schedule, and let's wear it together at the same time and sit beside each other, so people won't have to say, "Hey, there's somebody else here."
Exactly. Exactly.
And that reminds
So,
me, because of all the things that are going on everywhere in the world, but especially here in the United States, because you and I
mhm.
kind of keep it not political, and kind of, sometimes I feel bad that we don't mention the things that are going on, but we kind of try and keep it lighthearted here. But when we stopped at a service station yesterday, and we were just grabbing a quick bite to eat, and I'm like a people watcher, so these two little boys, they both stood up and they realized that they were the same age, almost about the same height. One was a person of color, little brown skinned boy, and the other one was Caucasian. And so they kind of were staring at each other, you know. And then the mothers kind of took attention, and they were looking at each other. And then next thing you know, the boys looked down at each other. They had on the same exact Crocs. That was so adorable. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, out of all the service stations, all the timing, everything in the whole wide world, and these two little boys, about maybe five-ish, looked
Mhm.
down, or four and a half or whatever, looked at each other, and they had on the same exact shoes. It was so adorable. And so the moms went over, talked to each other for a little bit, and then the mom had her other had she had one of them had her phone in her hand. And I thought she was gonna take a picture, and she missed the moment, because it's like you could show that okay, we're the same age, you know, we're not the same complexion, but
And
we're
everything
out.
in the United States is not divided, right?
Exactly. And so when
Yeah.
I left, because that one mom left with her son and her, she was also pregnant, and the Caucasian mom was still left there. And I went by her. I says, "No, wasn't that a precious moment?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "The fact that your son and that little boy had on the same exact shoes." I said, I said, "You should have taken a picture." She says, "You know what? For a split second," she said, "the thought crossed my mind." She says, "Now I wish I had done it." You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
just thought that was such a monumental moment, that the little boys could see that we're different, but we're the same.
It's
So
good that you
that's
can
just
plant seeds like that's like planting a seed, you know?
exactly.
So even though it didn't happen right there on the spot,
They
you
still
know, you planted a seed, and that's all we can do nowadays is plant seeds, you know.
exactly.
So
And when you see something good, call it out. We don't always have to call
yeah,
all the bad stuff, because the bad stuff is gonna
it's
thrive on its
yeah,
own. But when you see something good and something nice and pure, call it out and encourage.
yeah.
So I think
And so
that's
I do want to say that prayers go out to the family, the Nolan family, you know, the
yeah,
Wells family for
yeah,
their son. And thank you, because I had no idea. I hadn't turned my TV on. I don't really watch a lot of TV, and I hadn't been really YouTube and everything, so I didn't know what was going on.
yeah,
So to realize that there's bombing in Iran again, and murder in Mississippi and everything else, I'm thinking, oh my Lord, geez, I shouldn't say murder. I'll say alleged, possibly, anyway.
yeah. But not only
So
that, we do pray for us as a people, all of us,
our
because
nation, right?
one lady did have a podcast, and she said, it seemed like
Uh-oh.
it's hunting season. But I know you got to go, because you got a call coming through. But anyway,
Yes.
that could be something that we can pick up for next week. Just praying for our
Okay.
family, our young people. Love you. God bless.
Ready.
Go
Bye-bye.
take your phone call. Ciao for
Bye-bye.
now. Hugs and kisses. Thank you guys for watching. This is Nubia of Nubian Queen Nation on the YT channel. And we just thank you for joining in. If you know somebody who is a person who takes care of other people, they're a caregiver, whether it's children or foster care or whomever, it's very important for people to take care of themselves, and put themselves first. Also, put that mask on yourself first, and then you're going to be able to have more energy, more more of everything that you need to take care of your your loved one. All right. So if you could share it out, send it to a person, and we love our people, but at the same time, if you don't take care of yourself, you can be in a bankrupt state where you don't have enough to give to somebody else. So put that mask on yourself. I have some other things here too that I want to start doing. These little masks that you can buy from any store, and take some time to put a mask on, drink a good coffee, drink some a fresh carrot juice with some chai latte, whatever it is that suits your fancy. Just make sure that you're pouring back into yourself is so important. And I wanted to say also, have passport, will travel. It was nice to have like a little bit of a respite from my regular day to day, and to travel to a different country. It was really really nice. So that's all that I have. I think. Look, you think that I was sponsored by some of these people, but I wasn't. So it was nice that my husband picked up something like we had these little shampoos and little body washes. This was by Native, and then on the way home I picked up something I hardly ever drink, but it's one of these drinks that you call Snapple, kind of refreshing. It's a little bit high in sugar that I would like. And that was one thing too. When I ate, we were in Africa and we would go to eat something or drink something, and if it had a label like the drink, their contents and their food has way less sugar than ours does here in the United States. So go figure. I've had plenty of different people. I've heard their stories about them traveling to Europe or Italy or Greece, wherever they are. They eat the same foods that they eat here, and they either lose weight or stay the same. But then they come back to the United States and they gain weight all over again. So so get out there, have some, go for some walks, drink your water, add your collagen, take your B12 drops, do all those things that you need to do so we can live a long life and prosper. Thanks for being with us today. Come back and join us next next week. And hopefully I'll jump back on the bandwagon as far as my daily devotions that I do here, also reading through the Bible in 1 year. All right, so my name is Nubia. I'm not sure if my sister said her name, but she was Ajwa. And we thank you so much for tuning in to us. We don't take it lightly. So you have a wonderful, blessed day, and peace and blessings for now. Ciao.